My ex-wife dropped off some of our wedding photos we had hanging up. And I did a video.
What if everything you believed about a family living off the grid wasn't real? Imagine building your entire identity around surviving the wilderness, only to be forced into a Beverly Hills mansion when survival meant something entirely different. There's something missing right at the start, a silence that demands attention. What did Noah reveal about his wife that stunned even longtime fans? That question should linger as we slide into the story, because the truth he shared shattered the wholesome image viewers once held. Noah Shannon Brown, the quiet thinker of the Brown family, never set out to be a TV icon. From his earliest days, surrounded by vast Alaskan wilderness, he learned to build, create, adapt. But none of that prepared him for the wave of shock and confusion that washed over fans when he spoke out about his wife. What happened behind closed doors? That answer is what will pull you deeper. Audiences first met him on Alaskan Bush People in 2014, a teenager with grease-stained overalls and a curious mind, tinkering on tools and contraptions. Born July 18, 1992, Noah grew up homeschooled, building survival cabins instead of reading textbooks, a childhood that taught him resilience and inventiveness. But as the show grew popular, so did questions about how real any of it was. And no one expected Noah himself to later question what lay beneath the facade. He was a family's bridge between tradition and invention. Quiet, thoughtful, the one who could fix a generator as easily as he could string up a trap. Fans called him the genius, for good reason. In one scene, he cobbled together a mechanical rabbit feeder to spare his siblings from endless hand-filling. In another, he rewired old solar panels to power their makeshift greenhouse. It wasn't flashy, but was brilliant and undeniably rooted in real skill. But real life rarely follows script. While cameras faded, a storm brewed. First came rumors about authenticity. Neighbors claiming the Browns weren't always wilding in cabins, but checking in at lodges instead. It begged the question, were we watching survival or production? Those whispers crept in as locals reported the family pulling into hotels in the wee hours. Noah, calm and composed, never publicly addressed it, but insiders say those doubts weighed on him. Then the legal thunder hit. In 2015, his parents and siblings were charged with falsifying residency paperwork to claim Alaska's Permanent Fund dividend. Noah himself wasn't named, but the accusation tainted the whole clan. Hearing that cast doubt on every wilderness moment we saw. Was their off-grid life just a convenience? Fans wondered. Was he building survival tools or props? Still, Noah stayed steady. He carried on inventing, marrying his longtime partner, Rain, and becoming a father. Their sons, Eli and Adam, were born into that wilderness world. But in January 2025, Noah and Rain announced a separation. He moved out to a guest cabin and spoke of personal space, growth, and trying to protect his kids from family chaos. At the time, it felt sad, another family fracture in a lineage built on unity. But what followed blew the cracks into chasms. In August 2024, he and Rain filed a restraining order against his sister Rain, citing substance use and threats of violence. The court dismissed it, officially, due to insufficient evidence. Yet Noah said Rain once threatened him, even brandishing a gun and making chilling remarks. He recalled an incident on a trailer full of horses, where Rain allegedly said, "I would rather the horse die than listen to you." That moment wasn't just dramatic, it was terrifying and uncomfortably real. The tension escalated in April 2025. Rain and her husband Josiah were arrested on first-degree burglary charges, accused of stealing cash, gold coins, guns, even wine from a family member's storage. Report estimates reached $171,850, plus vandalism. Rain's life unraveled publicly. Her wedding to Josiah went unattended by most siblings, including Noah. She pleaded not guilty, posting a cryptic Instagram message that left fans wondering which version to believe. Just days before the arrest, Noah did something he never imagined. He called police for a welfare check on his own mother, Ami, claiming she was off her medication, drinking heavily, and even taking meth supplied by Rain and Josiah. He described receiving a disjointed message and finding Ami deteriorating. He feared for her life. Imagine the weight of that call, son to mom, pleading for help, When officers reached out, Noah warned them. Rain and Josiah were living in a cabin. Guns were present, and they referred to Josiah as a messiah. That detail lingered, a bizarre undercurrent of belief and fear mixing in the woods. So where does that leave Noah? He stands at a crossroads, caught between protecting his family and preserving their memory in the show they built. The cancellation of Alaskan Bush People in 2022 already marked the end of an era and now legal battles. Billy's estate lawsuit, ongoing disputes, are drawing out old wounds and new secrets. In this moment, Noah is no longer the quiet fixer behind the scenes. He's the one making hard calls, exposing truths that no one wanted aired. He's balancing fatherhood, a pending divorce, and his own conscience. And his revelation about his wife, that intense, jaw-dropping confession, was just a tipping point. Noah's world shifted again when whispers about his true finances began circling in late 2023. Viewers started questioning the narrative he'd painted. Was he really scraping by in the woods, or living a far more comfortable life behind the scenes? That sense of discrepancy crept in like an unsettling shadow, prompting deeper curiosity about what else was veiled. Fans pointed to more than just logs and cabins. They noted a Colorado property, an island getaway, even a tool workshop that didn't quite fit the struggling inventor image. As those hints gained traction, tension mounted. Could Noah's wilderness front be a stage as some of the show's most dramatic scenes? Hearing that, you'd feel a sense of unease, especially knowing that the family had already faced fraud allegations years before. If they could bend the truth, then what else could be scripted now? It came to feel less like admiration for an off-grid genius and more like skepticism toward a carefully constructed persona. By the time the show wrapped in 2022, the charm of wild survival had been replaced by doubt. And Noah's own actions, the allegations against his mother and sister, the divorce announcement, only deepened the questions. When does real life blur into a media performance? Then came the scrutiny into money, not just rumor, but documented. A U.S. Sun report revealed that quite possibly, Billy had earned as much as $500,000 per episode before his death. The very image of a modest family living off-grid looked suddenly misleading. Noah hadn't spoken much about it at the time, but fans noticed a gap between image and reality, and it shook their trust. Meanwhile, Noah's personal foundation was tumbling. His marriage to Rain, once a touching romance that bloomed amid wilderness challenges, reached its breaking point. They co-announced their separation in late January 2025 via a heartfelt TikTok. He living in the guest cabin, her handling the bustling main house, with fans left wondering what cracked under the pressure. That video hit hard. Here was a couple speaking directly to the audience, saying they tried to keep things peaceful, but something in their tone, in Noah's shadowed eyes, whispered otherwise. It opened a new chapter, one fraught with emotional strain, loyalty, and unanswered questions. The separation carried its own immediate intrigue. Noah said he was allowed to visit his sons, Eli and Adam, on weekends, but only if he texted ahead. Rain agreed, adding that space makes us healthier, but the formality of that procedure spoke volumes. One line in the announcement stood out. I was asked to move out a bit ago, and I am now living in our guest cabin. That phrasing quietly hinted at deeper fractures. Were there unspoken issues? Fans speculated. Was this a mutual decision, or was Noah forced out? Around that same time, more drama exploded. In August 2024, Noah and Rain had tried, unsuccessfully, to get a restraining order against his sister Rain, citing a string of frightening behaviors, threats, drug concerns, weapon use. Though the court dismissed the request, the allegations rounded a chilling backstory. Noah claimed Rain once declared, "My life would be easier if you were gone," allegedly during a tense moment in a shared trailer. Now, in early 2025, that uneasy tension spilled over into legal turmoil. April brought the next shockwave. Rain and her husband were arrested, facing charges of burglary and vandalism, accused of stealing over $171,000 worth of valuables, gold, cash, even firearms. That wasn't abstract drama. It was real law enforcement level crisis. Just days before, Noah had called 911 for a welfare check on their mother, Ami, fearing she was off her medication, drinking heavily, and possibly under Rain's influence. Imagine that. A son watching his mother decline, suspecting her daughter was pulling her down further, and stepping in with police to intervene. That move changed everything. It forced Noah from behind the scenes into the spotlight of a family reckoning. He wasn't just a public figure expressing heartbreak. He was a caretaker, a whistleblower, a man trying to salvage what was left of his childhood memories. Yet even that brave act invited backlash. Rain countered on Instagram, accusing him of fabricating stories, calling out family loyalty, and hinting at deeper betrayal. So where does that leave Noah? He's living in two worlds, the remnant of family legacy and a fractured present. His separation, his divorce, his steps to protect his mother, all of it unfolds amid an unraveling narrative fans thought they understood. Every revelation felt like another piece of a puzzle falling into place. Finances once questioned, now public. Family unity once promised, now questioned. A marriage once celebrated, now fractured. What stands out is how quickly admiration shifted into suspicion. That cozy image of father leading an unplugged life crumbled, replaced by tweets and threads debating whether anything about their story was unscripted. As one Reddit user put it, "It's so much worse than that," hinting at behind-the-camera secrets that extend far beyond the TV lens. Yet in this chaos, Noah still holds two innocent lives in his hands. Eli and Adam are the thread he clings to, asking us, and him, to keep watching, to keep hoping that maybe in the wreckage he finds a path forward. That's the hook that carries us into part 3. Will Noah rebuild? Can he separate loyalty to a troubled legacy from love for his children? And how will the public learn to trust him again? Noah's family saga had already been through heartbreak, but the final act brings a full weight of their journey into harsh focus. The world watched as whispers of hidden wealth and behind-the-scenes drama escalated into legal battles, failed protections, and fractured relationships, forcing everyone to question what was real and what was show. And now, we arrive at the part where legacy meets reckoning. At the center stood patriarch Billy Brown, a man whose unconventional parenting and raw charisma ignited the series' rise. Born in 1952 and passing away in early 2021, his influence loomed large over every narrative beat that followed. His wife, Ami, born in 1963, fought a harrowing battle with lung cancer in 2017. Suddenly, the family's romantic isolation in the Alaskan bush gave way to life in a $2.7 million Beverly Hills mansion, all to accommodate her treatment. That shift intensified skepticism. If they really craved off-grid living, why not stay remote? The optics of luxury and health metropolis clashed hard against the original survival image. Though most viewers recognized the Browns for their stern resilience, no one expected how much that period would redefine them. The family scattered across new territories. Billy passed. Ami struggled. Matt retreated to rural Washington farming, while Joshua focused on building a quieter life with his partner. Bear, known for explosive stunts, married Raven and became a father to 3, cherishing their bond as the Wolf Pack. Gabe blended artistic sensitivity with construction, raising his daughter Sophia out of public eye. Snowbird kept her connection to animals alive, preserving a softer harmony within the tumult. And Rain, she became the enigma, evolving from the youngest sister on screen into a figure mired in controversy and uncertainty. Through late 2022, the show that once captivated audiences with survival ethos quietly ended, a victim of a $500,000 lawsuit from 2009 tied to Billy's creative contracts and Discovery becoming embroiled in legal dispute. As court documents surfaced, the estate assets were laid bare. For $115,000 in land, a few thousand in the bank, symbolic livestock and keepsakes, and no one to guide the aftermath. The saga felt almost cinematic. A family once presenting self-sufficiency now caught fighting over debts, contracts, and reputations. Perhaps most heartbreaking was the emotional unraveling of family ties. Noah's earlier attempts to protect his mother and co-parent amidst legal crises foreshadowed collapse. Welfare checks, meth use allegations, police interviews, all adding layers of confusion and emotional strain. Rain's dark social media outcry, 2 failed restraining order petitions, and her later arrest closed the door on any remaining illusion of unity. Yet even in the wreckage, threads of hope remain. Bear recently teased a behind-the-scenes spinoff dropping in summer 2024, proving the family can still shape the narrative. Social feeds buzz with stories, photos, and updates, proof that despite cancellation, their story isn't fully done. In this final act, what stand out is transformation. Billy's health-driven relocation triggered change. His death and ensuing lawsuit sparked fracture. Each child's journey reflects a pivot from rugged on-screen survival to the complex realities of adulthood. Matt trades wilderness for solitude on a farm. Bear embraces fatherhood. Noah navigates separation and fatherhood under scrutiny. Their identities shifted. The struggle for authenticity became more demanding than any mountain climb. Then there's a financial portrait, what fame cost and what it bought. By April 2025, amid dispute, assets revealed the Browns were far from destitute. Billy left behind land and personal items, but many bills too. Dispute documents allege $500,000 per episode in early seasons, while net worth estimates of the family hit around $60 million. The dichotomy between their rustic image and reported reality shook viewers' trust and turned fans into skeptics overnight. Near the end of the road, celebrity breakdowns emerge. Take Noah. Once the introverted tinker on screen, he now navigates separation, fatherhood, a pending divorce, and public family strife. Yet he's invested in assets, a piece of island property in a Washington log cabin with a red roof shown in recent TikToks. His lifestyle now includes tools he built, but also a slice of wilderness real estate and modern parenting constraints. In contrast, Bear channels fame into new beginnings, announcing his podcasts like Special and focusing on fatherhood, tying public persona to personal growth. Gabe and Joshua slipped away from cameras, building stability in family and business. Their transformations speak to lessons beyond wilderness. Fame can fuel investment, but survival of public life demands reinvention. Noah's post-show portfolio includes luxury elements like land in Washington and private island property, tool shop investments, and potential brand-driven content revenue. He appears to drive a reliable mid-range pickup, but no high-end cars or jets are evident yet. He's likely insured through standard health and life policies, and may have partnered with outdoor brands. His real wealth lesson? Transitioning from televised survival into stable asset building. Understanding that raw fame must evolve into tangible, diversified investments for long-term security. Even after the last episode aired and the wilderness quieted, the Brown family's story continued to unfold in unexpected, often dramatic ways. Their departure from television didn't mark an end. It was the beginning of a much messier, more human chapter. Without a production crew or scripts to steer the narrative, real life began to rewrite everything. That's when the curated illusion gave way to something far more complicated and far more compelling. For Matt Brown, the oldest sibling, the spotlight became a double-edged sword. One celebrated as the outdoorsman and de facto leader during crises, he soon found himself overwhelmed by personal battles. Struggling with addiction and estrangement, Matt stepped away from the show and retreated into rural life in Loomis, Washington. He now works modestly on a local farm, documenting parts of his life on social media. His raw honesty and solitary existence stand in stark contrast to the energetic, capable brother fans first met. But here's a surprising twist. Matt has slowly gained a different kind of following. People drawn not to survival stunts, but to his emotional vulnerability. His story has quietly become one of healing, and it may be the most authentic arc to emerge from the series. Joshua Bam Bam Brown, the methodical builder and machinery wizard, also turned away from the limelight. While once a calm, logical presence on screen, Bam now spends much of his time off-grid with his longtime partner Allison Kagan. He rarely makes public appearances and remains mostly silent online. But insiders say he's shifted his creative talents into photography and small-scale real estate development. He may not command the headlines, but his low-profile approach could be the key to lasting peace and possibly future financial independence. Gabe Brown, always a quiet artist, took a different path entirely. Where others leaned into spectacle, Gabe leaned into sincerity. With his wife Raquel and daughter Sophia, he built a small life centered around family, music, and practical work. His rare social media updates often feature hand-built projects or acoustic guitar covers, a reminder that the most resilient legacies aren't always loud. Gabe's role, both during the show and after, became one of emotional glue. He anchored the family in ways few saw coming. And then there's Noah, the engineer, the thinker, always portrayed as the innovator. Noah carried his fascination with gadgets and mechanics into adulthood, but in recent months, his narrative turned turbulent. He filed 2 emergency protection orders against his sister Rain, both of which were denied. The move sparked fierce debate online. Was this a long-simmering sibling rivalry boiling over, or something deeper? At the same time, Noah appears to be raising his 2 sons and managing multiple properties, including his custom-built cabin and rumored island retreat. He occasionally teases tech inventions or family outings online, suggesting a man still trying to reconcile the on-screen persona with his off-screen identity. For Noah, legacy might not come from fame, but from how he uses the tools he's always relied on to build something lasting. Behind all this lies the simple truth that the Browns, for all their flaws, captured something rare. A family trying to live on their own terms while millions watched. From fish traps to courtroom battles, their journey mirrored the evolution of reality TV itself. From wonder to weariness, from myth to messy humanity. And maybe that's the real takeaway. Survival doesn't always look like hunting game or building cabins. Sometimes it looks like reconciliation. Sometimes it looks like learning to let go, or staying quiet, or walking away. As credits near, reflect on how the Browns were built for self-reliance, but life's challenges demanded far more. Legal acumen, emotional resilience, financial planning, and personal reinvention. This isn't just a survival story in the wild. It's a survival story in life. Their legacy asks us, when the cameras fade, how do we hold on to truth, identity, and family? The screen may go dark, but their story, fractured and real, echoes on. If their story moved you, hit like, share your thought below, and subscribe for more untold stories behind the spotlight.